One man's concern is another man's confidence. Let's talk about it, baby. Huddle up.
You don't want none! You don't want none!
What's going on, Tar Heel Nation? It is your favorite North Carolinian, Russ, the Tar Heel. And in this huddle, baby, we're going to talk about Tommy Ashley and Jason Staples' 20-minute Week 2 impressions video. If you haven't listened to it already, make sure you press pause because everything that I'm about to give you is opinionated and secondhand information. And go and watch their video. It's great insight. Those are the guys with the boots on the ground. And then come back here and listen to what your boys got to say. I'm going to pause for just a second. All right, you guys are back? Bet. So the first thing that they were talking about is the increased tempo and physicality with pads, right? They got old school hip-hop playing in the background, and they've increased in both of those areas, right? It's almost like there's a sense of urgency. Maybe it's because there is. It's year 6, Mac Brown 2.0. And yes, we've accelerated the program in the sense that we're back to 8, 9 wins, which I think is the bare bottom of what this program should be in the Atlantic Coast Conference. But, Mac Brown understands that the goals are higher, they're loftier, and he has even said that he came back to do greater things than, just to win 8, 9 games. I mean, I know that he had that statement of 8, 9 wins is pretty good around here. At the end of the day, I think it's an understood that he wants double-digit wins, he wants to compete for conference titles, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So it was interesting to see the tempo and physicality with the pads being escalated from Jason Staples. And he even said that they were doing extended goal line sets, man, which is outstanding to see. I mean, what does that do? When I was young, right, and I was playing high school football, we had goal line sets. And we did that, and it was a means of increasing physicality, right? You have a line here, the goal line, okay? The offense's job is obviously to assert itself and to push that ball over the goal line. The defense's job is to say, nah, buddy, you're not crossing this stinking line. And there's a whole bunch of testosterone and masculinity that's in this one space. And it's a beautiful thing to see. It's one of my favorite parts of football. And to see that they're doing that in practice is music to my stinking ears, especially to hear that they're putting an emphasis on it, right? Because Carolina has got to shake this moniker, if you will, of being soft. Okay? A lot of people have attributed that to the finesse offense, maybe not getting the defense ready, as the season comes, for the physicality that some teams are going to possess. I don't know if that's true or not, but what I do know is that you cannot replicate, having 2 units go at each other and see who's going to impose their will on the other one, man. That's a beautiful thing. It's what makes football great. We, as fans, love to see it, and I especially love to hear it. Jason Staples said that he's sitting there thinking as they're in these goal line sets and they're going at each other, this is real football. This is how it's supposed to be. That's music to my ears, man. Music to my stinking ears. It also shows that maybe Carolina's a little bit more comfortable with their depth, right? Obviously, it's a little bit more early in camp. You got a couple of weeks until Minnesota, but you can bang a little bit more, right? You can get physical because you got guys that'll have, an ample amount of opportunity to recover. So I like to see the increased tempo and physicality. They have more football players on the team. Jason was talking about how some of these young kids, man. Now remember, I just did a video on Russ's the Tar Heel Talk with Russ. If you haven't watched that one, check that one out. But I talked about the recruiting classes. North Carolina, 3, 4, 5 years ago was 11, 14, and 16, if I'm not mistaken. The last couple of years, they were 20-something. I think last year they were 32nd overall. Hey, and Jason is saying that some of these younger guys, they're moving some of these more highly ranked guys, upperclassmen. He brought up Aiden Banfield, 6'3", 300-pound 3-star, true freshman, putting an upperclassman on his ass. Some people may say, oh man, that's not a good thing. I say it's a great thing. It's a great thing. Got this young Thundercat coming in, trying to make a name for himself and assert himself. I love that, bro. And here's the simple fact of the matter. I don't care if you're an upperclassman or not. If you're not going to put out, bro, then you're going to have to ride the pine, and you're going to have to let one of these young Thundercats come in there and make it stinking happen. I want football players, man. I want football players. If I can get an athlete who is a football player, outstanding. But you give me a football player that's a little bit of athlete over an athlete that's a little bit of football player, bro, I'm taking the first one all stinking day. 3 stars. Banfield. And Jason Staples said he was stacking reps, right? Stacking them. Just going to stinking town. That's great to stinking see, man. Hey, let them know. We're not in Candyland anymore. I know I just came out of high school, but this ain't no stinking game to me, bro. I'm coming here to compete. I love it. So some people see the stars. That's what they see, bro. I want more dogs. If I could, that's what we need to do. We need to replace this star system with a dog system. That's what we need. I don't care how many stars you are anymore. I want to know how many dogs you are. Are you a 5-dog player? That's what we need, bro. We need some stinking dogs, man. They talked about Rodney Laura, number 92, 6'3", 295-pound, 3-star freshman, right? Putting an upperclassman, offensive lineman, just driving them backwards. So these young guys are coming in, and they're playing with pride and passion and heart, and that's what we need, man. We need guys that have drive, right? That's what we need, man. That's what we stinking need. And Jason said that there will be some upperclassmen that lose reps this year because some of these young guys are just playing better. Hence, they just want it more. They're football players. I love to stinking hear that, bro. Now, here's one of the things that's going to probably light a fire under a lot of Carolina players' butts, dude. Tommy Ashley and Jason Staples both said that Max Johnson this week separated himself and looks to be the clear number 1. Now, they did say that there's a lot of camp left. I understand that. But they said that he looked to clearly be the number 1 guy. And I figured that would be the case. I told everybody and their mom, listen, I think that Connor has a tremendous amount of upside, okay? I'm not disputing that whatsoever. But here in Max Johnson, the guy that people love to sleep on, he's a former 4-star prospect with over 2,000 SEC snaps, okay? He's played in the SEC West for 4 years. That's arguably the toughest division in all of college football. I don't even think there's much dispute on that year in and year out. He's got 40-plus touchdown passes in that stinking division with 12 interceptions, and he's got about 5,000-something passing yards. And he's an upperclassman. And then for the people who say, well, Max Johnson lost his job at both spots that he went, Jaden Daniels, the number 2 overall pick in the 2024 NFL Draft who just won the Heisman Trophy, yeah, that's the guy that took Max Johnson's spot. I think we can give him a mulligan. And then you go over to Texas A&M, and he loses a battle to Connor Weigman, who is a 5-star prospect. Once again, this dude's not losing his job to bums. Okay, so, one thing that we can say is, hey, he's had some health issues. Hey, maybe he's not as good as Jaden Daniels. Hey, maybe he's not as good as this 5-star Connor Weigman. But that doesn't mean that the kid's not good. And he's got a ton of experience. And once again, bro, you cannot put a premium on that. And some guy that's experienced and he's been through battle, he's been through the wars, he's been under the lights, eventually he's going to separate himself 99% of the time. And when they said that, I was kind of surprised that they put that information out there, but good on them because honestly, it's what I anticipated to be the case in the first place. Love Connor. He's a great kid. I still believe that there will be packages in place for him, but good night, man. You're going against a guy with a ton of experience, man, and that's going to be an uphill battle to stinking climb. Like I said, both will still play just like I anticipated. But I think that, and this is just from the outside looking in, that I kind of said way back when, I think Max is going to eventually separate himself because of all that stinking experience, man. And then it's interesting that they also specify that this is basically a two-man race right now. You got Max Johnson, who separated himself from Connor, and then you have like this pretty lengthy gap between Connor and Max, and then Jacoby Criswell and Michael Merdinger. But both of them alluded to the fact that Merdinger, looked pretty good. He's got some tools to work with and everything. So I thought that was interesting that they've kind of, from their personal perspectives, they believe that at least at this juncture of camp, Connor and Max have separated themselves. And then from that separation, Max has even separated himself from Connor a little bit. And one of the reasons is because they said that, the most consistent when it comes to 7-on-7, just reps, running routes and throwing, and then additionally live repetitions, when basically you're under duress, you're under fire, Max has been the more consistent guy. Like I said, I anticipated that from the beginning. It's not really surprising to me, but I really wonder what you guys think. Put it down in the comment section what you think about the news that Max Johnson, from those two individuals' perspective, which I think is, pretty good sources. It's not just necessarily opinionated, if you will. I mean, Jason Staples is kind of known for, breaking down talent, if you will. So I would take a lot of stock in what he's saying when he gives us that information, if you will. Now, and just one more thing before I move on is, if we're, like I've said before, if we're playing a video game, then 100%, bro, Connor's going to be your stinking guy, okay, because he's a dual threat guy. But we're not playing a video game, right? Real life, okay? What are you going to do when the lights are on and it's time to stink and shine? Like I've said before, I really believe that Carolina can win. They're a deeper team than maybe they've been in Mac Brown's, the Mac Brown 2.0 era. But I think that Carolina can win with either under center. It's just that, who am I more confident in right now? I'd have to give it to the guy with all the accolades that I just stinking gave you guys. So another thing they talk about was that, this three-headed tight end room, I guess maybe Jake Johnson's got a little bit of work to do, man. They said that he hasn't been necessarily the same with pads on, and Jason said he needs to see him get a little bit more physical, if you will, and basically it's the Bryson Nesbitt and John Copenhaver show. So hopefully both of those guys can stink and stay healthy for the entire year, because we're going to need them mightily. And the last one is going to be where I draw the title of this video, okay? The title of this video is One Man's Concern is Another Man's Confidence. And the reason that is because I, as an old head, if you will, I'm starting to feel that way. I'll be 38 in November. This may very well be a defense-first football team. Now, a lot of people, man, especially younger guys, man, that love to see fireworks, and they love to see just, 50 to 40 games, and, they love the UNC Wake Forest game 2 years ago, and, they love the UNC App State game 63 to 61. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. I can't stand that type of football. It's not a basketball game. It's a football game. And I want to see some stinking defense, man. I want to see some people getting rocked, and I want to see some people getting run over. And I love to see physical downhill football, man. And I love a defense with linebackers and safeties that will come up and fill the hole. So when I heard that maybe this offense is going to be a little less explosive, but the defense will be more physical and better, and that Jeff Collins is going to be bringing pressure from everywhere, and we're getting away from that bend, don't break mentality, and we're just going after the quarterback. We're trying to get some TFL, some sacks. We're trying to get some disruptive, chaotic plays. I love that, man. I stinking love it. It's music to my ears. One of the things Jason Staples said, and I agree wholeheartedly, and this is what a lot of people are not taking into consideration when they look down on Carolina because Drake May is gone. despite being less explosive on offense in 2024, UNC could be a better team overall. I've said for a while now that Carolina's finesse style on the offensive side of the football and even the defensive mentality over the last couple of years, maybe not so much Jay Bateman, because he wasn't really given all the tools that he was going to need to be successful. I'm sure that Elko will take care of him in Texas A&M, and we're going to realize, not too long that we lost a good one, even though I do have full faith and confidence in Jeff Collins' ability to turn this thing around. I said for a while that I think the finesse has really hurt Carolina's defense, man. And, if we're going to be honest with each other, that's one of the things that has really kept us from reaching those new heights. Offense has been pretty good, man. Offense has been pretty good for a while. The defense has kept us back. So, cheers, man. Get excited. Here's to old school football. It ain't like they're going to be running the Maryland Eye or anything, or running the triple option like the 2001 Nebraska Cornhuskers with Eric Crouch. That's not what I'm talking about. But it pleases me to think that we're going to get downhill a little bit more, man. Maybe a little bit more methodical down the field. Somebody put in one of the comments on Inside Carolina, I can't remember which, but it's perfectly stated. Maybe we're scoring touchdowns in 10 plays, 9 plays, 10 plays, as opposed to 5 plays, because we're methodically moving the ball down the field via the run, short, intermediate passing game with the tight ends, and then occasionally hitting deep over the top with some of these young studs that we have a wide receiver. And on the flip side of that, we got linebackers and safeties that are getting downhill, attacking, and for the love of everything holy, hopefully Monachino can get that defensive line to get a stinking push. So, once again, maybe it's a less explosive offense. Maybe we're scoring between 25 and 30 points a game, but wouldn't it be stinking sweet if we were only giving up 15 to 20 points a game? That'd be stinking outstanding. I think that's a great place to end it, man. So let me know what you think down in the comment section. Tar Heel Nation, do you like what you're hearing out of camp, or are you worried? I, for one, man, I'm feeling pretty stinking good, bro, and August 29th cannot get here soon enough. If you haven't already, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel, and we will catch you on the next one, Tar Heel Nation.